Good morning. It's Friday, August 26th. And this morning I can tell you that Joe Biden has finally come through with the student loan forgiveness program. And in the minds of many, they are happy to get it. But in the minds of many, they are also disappointed by the amount that was given. So here are the basics. The first group of people are those that received a Pell Grant. Now, a Pell Grant is a special government loan. So if you received a Pell Grant, then your student loan forgiveness is $20,000 if you come from a family that earns less than $125,000 a year. And the other people whose families earn more than $125,000 a year are given $10,000 of forgiveness. And that doesn't matter whether it's a Pell Grant or some other kind of student loan. Now, if you take a look at the student loan interest rates, they vary depending upon whether you are an undergraduate or a graduate student. So right now, for an undergraduate student, the fixed interest rate is 4.99%. But on top of that fixed interest rate, there's a loan fee. And that loan fee is 1.057%. So when you look into educating a child and having to spend money, you have to be aware of more than a couple of different numbers, right? So you need a fixed interest rate, then there's a loan fee. And then there's the time limits and things like that. And loan fees can change, and interest rates can change. Now, if you're a graduate student or a professional student, like going to medical school or something like that, the fixed interest rate is 6.54%. And there's still a loan fee on top of that, which is the same 1.057% now. And those things have time limits. So they can run for a couple of years or they can run for 6 months. It doesn't matter. Right now, the time limit is set from October 1st of 2020 to October 1st of 2023, right? And then if you don't qualify for some undergraduate type loan, unsubscribed loan as they call it, then you can get a direct plus loan. And this is for parents and graduate or professional students. And the interest rate on those kinds of loans are 7.54%. And you think that's high? Well, tack on another 4.228% for loans that were first dispersed on or after October 1st, 2020, and before October 1st, 2023. So you're doubling. If you get a direct plus loan, you are almost doubling the amount of interest that you have to pay on these loans. And that, in my mind, is unconscionable. Absolutely unconscionable. Now, if you go out into the private student loan area, right, then the rates are different. They can be from 3.22% to 13.95%. And they give you a list of groups that are charging these heinous prices. One of the organizations is called College Avenue, right? Now, College Avenue is a company that specializes in student loan. And they have features. They offer undergraduate, graduate, dental, law, medical, MBA, health professions, etc., loans. And they claim they have low rates. And when you look on the face of it, it looks pretty low. But when you get into the nitty-gritty, it's not so cheap. It's not so low. So you take a $10,000 loan that is given to you in one disbursement. A fixed 8.35% fixed annual rate, right? Which is called the APR. And when you're ready to pay it off, you pay 120 monthly payments of $179.18. And if you complete this payment ritual in 10 years, because that's the amount of time they're giving you to pay it off, right? You will have paid them back $21,501.54. And the loan will never have a full principal and interest monthly payment of less than $50. So you're stuck for $50 even though you can't make necessarily a payment. But I guess that's a reasonable thing. Everybody should be able to make a $50 payment. As to the other annual payments or yearly or monthly payments, that's up to you. But imagine if you decide to only pay $50 a month, it's going to take you a long, long time to get rid of that loan. So as I look at this whole student loan situation and the tuition fees that colleges get, I think they're outrageous. But then when you look at the other side of it, if you want to have good teachers and you want to have the best professionals teaching your students, it costs money. Now, I don't know how much money these colleges waste in a lot of ways. Because, if they have a professor who's very good and they pay him $250,000 a year, that's an acceptable thing. But when they pay the college football coach $2 million a year, that's ridiculous. So you have a lot of things that go into the cost of tuition that are outrageous. And that's what you have to watch out for. So you have a gigantic conundrum in this country. And we, in my mind, haven't taken a good hard look at what could be done to offset some of these things. What if we had a program that said if you give service to this country for 5 years after you graduate, your loan will be forgiven? And that could be any kind of service. Suppose you graduate as a doctor or something, and then you go in and you do service in a VA hospital or something like that for 5 years, then they should forgive your loan. Same thing goes for a lot of other professions. If the government selects various jobs that should be done by professional people, it would be okay in my mind to offer those jobs to recent graduates of school, and if they worked at that job for 5 years, then their loan would be forgiven. How about something like that? And then there'll be those who say that's a socialist thing and we shouldn't be doing that and where's our tax money going, blah, blah, blah. But we have to do something to correct this situation. And we have to have people who are willing to do the research, because in my research, many, many schools give you a good deal if you're a low income family and your student qualifies for that school. They'll give you a reduced rate of tuition. But how many parents or grandparents spend the time and effort to find all those things out? And maybe you shouldn't go to the absolute perfect school that you want. Maybe you have to go to a lesser school that has a good program, and you're a great student, so it's not going to make that much of a difference. So the whole thing with student loan forgiveness is a problem that this country is going to have for a long, long time unless we come up with a better plan. So I leave you with that this morning, and I hope that all of you can afford to send your children and grandchildren to good schools, and this is not a problem in your lives. See you in the morning. Bye.